Look, nothing that the Chief Minister said in reply really gave us that huge assuaging of concerns. That's the reality. You know, our concerns remain for the reasons I indicated. But of course, faced with the abyss of no deal, faced with the Chief Minister saying the day before there are going to be catastrophic circumstances, that they've got information that they haven't shared with us, well, then we took a leap of faith towards this agreement, as long as our conditions were met, which was that the amendments to the motion were made so that we, Gibraltar, have the trigger in the future on things that are going to be done under the agreement. Well, we wanted a deal that secures freedom of movement, that did not have boots on the ground, that doesn't have the intrusive controls of information that they are giving to Spain, and has certainty. That the government have set out, as they confirmed yesterday, that they did not seek the right of freedom of movement. I think that's a mistake because you know, we had the right of freedom of movement when we were in the EU for as long as we were there. So why not? It would have given us the right to reside. It would not have made us subject to the 90-day rule. It would have given us the right to work in the EU. So our citizens, I think, would have had a more expansive set of rights. So I think that was a mistake. They were very precise about objecting to Spanish presence. And what you've got in this agreement is that there will be Spanish officers in Gibraltar at the airport undertaking checks. Yes, will they be within the so-called Schengen shack? Yes, but they will also be outside it doing certain duties. They will be transiting passengers from the port to the airport. There will also be other Spanish officers under the agreement that have the right to come in to do surveillance or hot pursuit. All of that is boots on the ground. There's no point denying it. We've got to be realistic and honest with the people of Gibraltar. That's my plea. And what you don't do, in my view, is tell the people of Gibraltar for 2 or 3 years there will not be boots on the ground, then they U-turn and not properly explain it. We rush into a debate and then the government deny that there are boots on the ground. The reality is that people need to be told the truth. And that is the truth. There is a possibility of abuse by Spain, and, you know, traditionally we don't trust Spain. So can they use those economic levers to harm Gibraltar? We're worried about that. Are we emotionally, do we find it difficult to consider Spanish officers here in Gibraltar? Yes, we do. But, you know, faced with those choices on a non-negotiable basis and faced with no deal, we take a leap of faith towards this deal. And I made very clear yesterday, and this is quite important, I think, for viewers, that a future GSD government would make the best of a deal that we have misgivings on. In other words, we would implement it in government and make the best of this deal. And I wanted to make that clear in my speech, not just because of the misgivings that we were expressing, but so that people know what our attitude would be if we were elected to government. I have concerns about the economics, because we don't know how this is going to work. This is a recalibration of the economic model in relation to goods, things that we've never done before. We've never really had free trade in this way with Spain and in the hinterland. We're giving them economic controls about real-time access to computer information in certain areas. Spain have, for Schengen, they've got powers to decide things like short-stay visas or residence permits. Is that going to be exercised in a manner that is abusive and harmful to our economy because, for example, they don't want a trade delegation to come from a visa-requiring non-EU state? I don't know. These are things to be tried and tested in the future. I'm concerned about the lack of certainty because of the 12-month break clause. But, you know, we take a leap of faith. We're going to try to make it work from the opposition. I've said yesterday that we are willing to work together, collaboratively, you know, in cooperation with the government on these issues and in future in government as well.